Ain't that a bitch? They making me choose this angle. The panoramic or portrait when I didn't even choose it. Boy, I tell you, boy, y'all keep coming up new ways to screw me over. I'm back, man. I'm Sino Man. What's good, y'all? Yeah, well, it's good to get outside when the weather gets nice. Keeping it real, keeping it red. That's what Suge Knight used to tell me. How you living? Keeping it real, keeping it real. like, not wearing red right now. I was wearing something brown. It wasn't anything close to red. How you living? Keeping it real, keeping it red. uh, Ja Morant. Well, everybody done read his apology. Nobody cared to hear it, especially when something happens again so swiftly. But there's developments that a lot of people don't know about. So this is the first time you're going to hear about it. So strap in, people. Sino got updates. Now, once Adam Silver had to speak, because everybody was waiting to hear his first comments, because that was going to be the talk of the draft. Which everybody is screaming fix on the draft because of the results. Shouldn't be screaming fix because this was supposed to happen. If you thought the draft was fixed back in the 80s, how do you think the Knicks got Patrick Ewing? The draft has always been fixed. All the way back to the bent envelopes before they start doing the lottery balls. How do you think that Shaq went to Orlando? Then Orlando got Penny. And they got, Chris Webber when they had one ball in there. One ball. And that one ball made it to go all the way to the end. And they got number one. Y'all didn't think it was corruption? How those other balls wasn't really moving? They were weighed down and couldn't get sucked up? It's a large corruptional system in play. Same way they put me in this format I don't like to be in, this portrait thing that I did not have my channel under when I made the video. Nah, situations often change. Like, people's agenda. Like, Spurs is going to get Wembanyama. He was going to be the top pick of the draft. What team would you prefer that's in the draft for him to go to? Either the Dallas Mavericks or the Spurs. They don't trust Jason Kidd with him, but Popovich, well, he works better with international players. So What a mysterious coincidence. Detroit, who had the worst record in the NBA, ended up fifth. So T said, I mean, I think there's a solid player they could get, but hell, you might as well trade the pick and see what you can get out of it. Now, the elephant in the room was Ja Morant's situation, which put Adam Silver on the hot seat. See, Adam Silver is only good for program messages. When he got to go live and talk about some things that's just happened, that just went down, he's not that good. Everybody thinks he's a great speaker until something happens and he got to actually say something that isn't programmed as a speech. That's it. So he just starts stuttering and looking dumb. Then you really start to see the truth, don't you? Well, of course, if you didn't know crypto was coming with regulations, it needed to be regulated. The fact that it wasn't regulated is the fact that was killing everybody and bankrupting people like CVP. A lot of people kept talking about the Fed. Yes, the Fed did, the interest rate and all that. That played a major part in inflation. But cryptocurrencies, the crypto banked with SVB. So if the crypto goes under and start to fall, people are going to start pulling their money out, which is affecting the SVB. They were banking the crypto companies. For the people that didn't understand what I was saying the last time. So now, let's get back to Ja. Here's where everything got dicey. They were just having a meeting because they wanted to reconvene about what they were going to do with Ja after the draft. They say, let's worry about what we need to worry about when we need to worry about it. We got all this time. He's suspended from all activities. Let's not rush to a decision. Let's take our time, get through the draft, then we will reconvene. So they have not met with anyone. But today, on this wonderful day here, after Ja has put out his apology, he's going to see a behavior therapist. I'm going to let you know that right now. Ja Morant is going to see a behavior therapist that the National Basketball Association is going to approve. And that behavior therapist is going to report on actions, on what they see from Ja Morant. He has to make those meetings. He can't miss any of them. Now, Rick Carlisle, who's in charge of the head coaches division, and CJ McCollum is pushing for a suspension that is very unprecedented for this incident. Isaiah Thomas is contacting Joe Dumars, who's the president of basketball operations, as they deliberate on this subject, he's contacting Joe Dumars to try to fight Ja Morant and not to go prisoner of the moment for the league. Remembering Ja's age, saying that he should be punished, but making sure he plays devil's advocate to the situation, that we wouldn't be reactionary to this, that the league isn't reactionary. But CJ McCollum, the way he's acting in this situation, from what I've been told behind the scenes, is very surprising. The way he's been acting towards this, he sounds more corporation than he is pro player. I already knew what Rick Carlisle was. So, yeah, we'll wait to see how it plays out. But the Board of Governors have not met yet. This is just the conversations that are going back and forth via Zoom. How do I know? Let's just say I know. And yes, they want him to see behavioral therapists like right away. And the NBA is going to appoint one. And he has to make those meetings. And this is why he's temporary, like he's suspended right now until further notice. No, there's going to be a suspension. He will not be, his contract is not going to be voided. He didn't commit a crime. So his contract is not going to be voided. But a suspension is imminent. That's going to cost him more millions of dollars. Rick Carlisle and other people are pushing for at least a year suspension. They think he should miss the entire season and spend that time focusing on getting himself together and things of that nature. Adam Silver thinks that's a little too hasty. Well, he doesn't want Ja Morant going for an entire season because Ja is one of the top 5 most popular basketball players in the league. That hurts the Grizzlies market tremendously with promotion, advertisement. Even though they love Desmond Bane don't fill and put butts in the seats. So they're trying to say, how many games should we give him? Should he miss half the season or all the season? That's where they're at right now. But they're not going to void his contract because he did not commit a crime. It wasn't a crime with a weapon. There's no police involved. This is a image matter, an image for the NBA So Ja Morant won't lose his entire contract. His contract won't be voided. Rick Carlisle is he's the president of the head coaches organization, and he's got a voice on the board. So what you guys don't realize is that Rick Carlisle is behind a lot of the, how y'all guys doing? He's got a lot of influence in the league. He's the guy that throws stones and hides his hands. He's the reason LeVar Ball was barred from being interviewed by anybody in the league. Nobody can interview LeVar Ball. Nobody in the mainstream media, NBA media, cannot interview LeVar Ball. That was open. No, G. Potter, that won't be the case. Ja Morant was 100% wrong. He took responsibility for it. For anybody who keeps trying to defend him and saying it's his day off, keep understanding he's a player in the National Basketball Association. You have an image to uphold. They're paying you for that image. That's why you have a sponsor who pays you millions of dollars. Somebody brought up Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan had a gambling problem. It ain't a problem if you can pay your debts. That's a bad image for Nike. Was it bad for Nike? Was it bad for the Jordan brand? Michael Jordan was gambling and winning championships. Now, if his gambling cost him to lose a championship, maybe. But him playing cards for money, they don't. All the players do it. He's not sitting there betting on NBA games. B-nickel, that is called fantasy. That never was the case. Michael Jordan never owed any debt to nobody. That's fan fiction. That led to the demise of his father. I told you the truth about what happened to his father. It didn't go down exactly how they reported it, but there was reasons they wanted to do that, to protect his name and image. Well, you'll wait and you'll see when it all comes boiling out what's going to actually happen. But right now they're looking at 6 months or the whole season. But they're going to do it by game. Then after those games, they're going to monitor him. And then he's going to be on a very strict, and I mean extremely strict, probationary period. He can't screw up again. If he gets caught doing anything like this again, he will be gone. This is just like any other corporation. When they want to get rid of you, they start what they call the paper trail. Whenever you do something wrong, It comes with a write-up. They want to keep writing people up. They want to document everything you do wrong so they could justify your departure. Now, they don't want Ja Morant gone. The league isn't stupid. Now, if this was Desmond Bane, this would have been a 2-day decision. Bane would be in the G League right now. This is Ja Morant. And no matter how anybody feels, Ja Morant generates traffic. Major traffic. As I told you, he was number 1 on the internet as the most searched person before any gun incident. Everybody would go on social media, type in Ja Morant, Ja Morant, Ja Morant. Millions of people watching Ja Morant because he does spectacular plays that are appeasing to the eye. So a Ja Morant clip would get millions of views. All the Hoop Centrals and all these people are eating off Ja Morant ability. To see a little guy jump from like the free throw line dunking on a center is a lot more appeasing than watching LeBron James go down there and do a layup running over Steph Curry. I know, that's because you don't know anything, sir. Ja was number 1 most searched athlete on social media for 2 years in a row. Steph Curry was number 2. LeBron was number 3. So when I'm trying to tell you is that he generates traffic. So the league is not stupid. They're not going to get rid of Ja Morant, but they have to get Ja Morant in line. He has to understand consequences. This isn't no, I just give a speech and I can just go back to being Ja and do the dumb stuff I was doing. No. If this was Adam Silver, if this was David Stern, this would have been over the first time. He would have got the message. Because David Stern would have took him into a private meeting with just him and David Stern. And he would have let it be known. This ain't accepted. No other time. You would have got that message. And he's like, you can complain to the union all you want. I run them too. He was clearly the emperor of the NBA. You were going to feel him. You knew not to cross David Stern. Nobody fears Adam Silver. He wants to be everybody's friend. It could have been not loaded. It could have been a toy gun. It could have been a water gun. It's the image, people. Did Adam Silver not say everything I said? Did Adam Silver not say the exact things that I said last night? When I was like, this dude's holding the gun by his head and doing all this. That gun could go off. Shoot him in the head. Hit some kid. Anybody. That's a dangerous situation. And you're promoting that. Even if you're in somebody else's page. It could be a fake gun. It could be a toy gun. You just gave the image off to the rest of the world of what Ja Morant is all about. Just like that. You're the face of the league. Conduct detrimental to the league. What he did is detrimental to the league. The image. You have to be aware that Adam Silver had a conversation with this man in his office where he explained to him the seriousness about what is going on here in America, period, with guns. There's a big fight over guns, gun violence in the streets, even especially in Memphis, Chicago, Houston. These are major cities where there's gun violence. And you waving a gun around in a video. Do you not see that is detrimental to the league? This thing is bigger than Ja Morant. And a lot of people be surprised CJ was talking the way he was talking in the video. And how he's so pro-company man now. But I'm not surprised. He always seems spineless to me. So, no, he's not fighting for Ja the way he should be. He's using it from a vice president's standpoint, not a player's standpoint. He's more in agreement with what the league is doing, but you're vice president of the players union. That means you're to represent the players, not the league. You're not part of the company. So I'm like, I would be voting to have him removed. As president of the players, or he's not vice president, sorry. He is president of the players union. The vice president is Brown. Yep, Jaylen Brown. Well, I had enough of him during the Kyrie Irving situation. The way he crawled up in the ball and sat down. And Jaylen Brown, who's the vice president, had to step up for Kyrie Irving. And there's more hate and more outrage for Kyrie Irving right now than it is for Ja Morant. Who's never done nothing anyway. So, let that sink in. Nah, don't praise Stern too quick. On the Patreon, we got the real David Stern. The Stern you don't know about. We got the David Stern stories coming on the Patreon starting today. The first one is about Spreewell. You finna get that one first. Well, we played Kwame's video over here. To me, Kwame going viral, it doesn't really matter to me if he went viral. Kwame didn't set out a plan to say, hey, I'm finna go viral. He was speaking from the heart. Kwame say the things that these people can't say. They wish they could say what Kwame Brown said. So they just gonna play what Kwame Brown said. And be like, Kwame said it. And they could piggyback off that. So Kwame is always gonna go viral. If you pay attention, he always got something he says that's a viral moment. But the message he portraying, they don't want to make that viral. But anything talking about Ja, they want to make that viral. Because, yeah, he was down. They was like, how does that and Gil, how does that help the kid? How does that help the situation? Easy. You shaming him. The whole world is shaming. That's what he needs. He got dealt with kid gloves the first time. Now, you got to get all that comes with it. Because you didn't listen. Yep, that's the price you pay for not listening. Do you know how that situation would have went? And Kmart was his daddy, and he had to go on a show and do something. And you know, T. Morant situation. It's with your money, but now you done messed that up. It's going to no more clubs. Nope. Taking it out. No more VIP in the strip clubs. That's over. And you can't see your friends for 2 weeks. I'm telling you, putting my foot down. You messing up my money. Well, sir, I don't know about Kwame Brown's finances. Not my job to ask about how much money Kwame Brown makes or don't make. Why would I care? Don't. Is he going around trying to show you how much money he got and how rich he is? No. He's trying to give people information that could change their lives in a positive way. If you took time to listen to what he was saying, you actually realize it could help you. But you got these overgrown, spoiled babies thinking Kwame's supposed to make them rich or something. I don't think CJ is the right president for the players union. I think Jaylen Brown should be the president. CJ should step down. Chris Paul, he got out of it, but he still got influence. He just basically put CJ in his place to take all the blame, while CP still behind the scenes on all of it. He's too pro-league. You know, whatever the company and Adam Silver is saying, CJ gonna see it his way. But it's weird because Adam Silver is really like, hey now, let's not forget, we're not trying to kill the Grizzlies market. We did a lot to build this Grizzlies market up. I like where it is. I don't want to destroy that. The Memphis Grizzlies need to be one of the top teams in the West. John Morant fills seats. When he plays on the road, people want to see John Morant. Ja's young, absolutely. So is those children that watch him. So are the children that follow him. There's a lot of young kids like John Morant, and you just putting the image out there, you waving around a gun. That isn't cool, bro. I'm a friend of Tiny, not really T.I. too much. I don't like the way he treats her. She's the genius of the family. He's the guy that took terrible advantage of his wife, make her feel very insecure, then go cheats on her and blame her for him cheating, all to try to make her feel less than, keep her feeling unconfident, just so he can keep her in the house with all the kids while he run around and do what he want to do. That's not a man. I don't respect stuff like that. So yeah, back in the day, I used to have a lot of respect for him. Then he started acting just like a sucker would do, a simp, a weak man. Once I started seeing those examples, then I said, yep, weak man. I ain't want nothing to do with it. The only person he's fooling is himself. He thinks he's a master manipulator. He's not. He's good at running this game on his wife because he uses her love for him. When she has genuine love for him, he uses that as his weapon, and he uses that to manipulate her. That's why they in this mess they in now. Every bit of problems they got is because of him. He didn't create it. Because at first she had all the money. He didn't have a dime. And she was dating him. She never cheated on that man once in her life. Then once he blows up, she helped his whole entire career. Then once he blows up, now here come all type of disrespect. Trust me, it's hard to void a man's entire $231 million contract. Where these people at with their dogs? ain't going by them, dog. Hell to the no. I'll go the super long way before I let that happen. They ain't biting me. No. They had to wait till the draft is over before they really sit down and address the situation. Now that the draft is over, they're gonna elaborately go over the scenes. Well, it's in the off season, so they had nothing but time to what they say, deliberate over the situation. So they had their Zoom call. Isaiah's gonna reach out to Joe, who's president of the basketball association, and he's just reaching out to him about the situation. He's gonna speak on behalf and say some things for Ja. Let's not forget this is a young kid, but I agree with the decisions y'all got to make. But let's not keep in light like we gotta slam him to the floor so hard and get reactionary because the public want to see blood. Off season do count. You act like he's the first athlete to get in trouble in the off season. You want to tell that to Pac-Man Jones? You want to tell that to Antonio Brown? I ain't hear you. Said off season didn't count. Right? The off season is when the majority of the damage is done. Well, you have everyone who wants to reward bad behavior, or they act like nothing. Like, just act like nothing. It don't mean anything. Just do your thing. Well, it definitely means something. You just don't want to be the one where the example is made. You don't want to be that example. Like I said, this is normally how it happens. New rules are made because of your decisions and your actions. That's going to end up affecting every new athlete, every new contract that comes into existence. Every new contract that comes up out the woodwork is going to be affected by this decision. Well, absolutely. What you don't want to be how you doing? Well, that's because they're rewarding bad behavior. And as long as you reward bad behavior or poor behavior, this is going to be the scenario every time. People are used to getting a slap on the wrist. What Gilbert Arenas say? If you slap me on the wrist, I'm going to say, oh, that didn't even hurt. And I'm going to do it again. That's his mentality. So if he says that's his mentality of what he's planning on doing, why would anyone believe anything other than? That's why they won't void his contract, sir. Can't void a man $231 million when there has been no crime in either situation. There's no crime. But he can be suspended from the league for conduct detrimental to the league. Long as you're under contract, that means you could be anywhere in the world. Off the clock, on the clock. You're still property of that company. The National Basketball Association. Exactly. There's no such thing as an off-season. You are property of the National Basketball Association. Mostly every athlete who's gotten in trouble, it wasn't during the season. The majority of their troubles was when the season was over. So if you think you can't be punished, there's plenty of athletes who get into all kind of altercations in the summertime or in the off time. Kobe Bryant. Just another example. So it can happen to anybody, anywhere. But the majority of this stuff happens during the off season. So if you think somebody can't get punished because they're on their stay off season, don't listen to Gilbert Arenas. Just hear what he says. That's what you do. You hear Gilbert. Like he says, oh, that's just a little slap on the wrist. That didn't even hurt. So I'm going to do it again. He's telling you, hear him. He will do it again. He's done it again. But he tried to say he learned his lesson. He didn't learn no lesson. He was just on the Dan Patrick show saying he would have done it again. I'm not sure if I wouldn't do the same thing again. He was dead serious. He would have did it all over again. That shows the level of immaturity. He's on the Dan Patrick show, and he's telling all the predominantly white people that watch this show and showed them how ignorant he really is. He's willing to do it all over again. So you hear what Gilbert said, and you say, well, damn, that's dumb. But you hear the point. And the point is, a slap on Ja's wrist ain't going to be enough here. He's going to actually have to suffer consequences. Because he's been warned. Now you've embarrassed the commissioner. You've embarrassed everybody who stood up for you. Now they like, now I gotta turn my back on you. Like Paulie said in Goodfellas. Yeah, now I gotta turn my back on you. It's the way it is. Yeah, he put out the proper statement. What the NBA's finna do is have him right now. He's got to see a behavior therapist. Key word, a behavior therapist that the NBA is going to assign to him. This isn't the only thing, but that's what's happening. He's going to get a behavior therapist assigned to him, and that behavior therapist is reporting to the league. This is somebody the league is going to appoint. He can't go to his own doctor. He can't miss a meeting. You're going to have to see that behavior therapist. You might not like it. It might be at 9 a.m. You're going to have to get up. You're going to have to see that behavior therapist. Whether you like to or not. No, that's one of the stipulations they're going to have him go through. Now the argument is over, and Rick Carlisle, who has a lot of influence in the NBA, he's the president of all the head coaches in the league. They have their own union. He's the president. He's the one that's always trying to get people fined, suspended, and he has large influence in the community. He's pushing for a year. He's campaigning for a year. Now, I find that to be quite unusual. Get an IRS letter. Shit. not how we roll, sir. I walk over an hour a day. Y'all know that. Y'all have seen me the last 3 days. Y'all done went with me on these walks. Y'all know I don't mess around. But yes, CJ McCollum is pro company and pro yes man. Adam Silver is actually fighting for Ja Morant. He is not in agreement with Ja Morant missing a whole season. They're going to sit down with the Board of Governors in the union, which is Jaylen Brown, and CJ McCollum. But CJ is sounding like a company man again, which is upsetting to a lot of people. To hear CJ talk like that. It's like, you know, he's just basically pro company, but you're supposed to represent the players. You see, Jaylen Brown, he represent the players, but CJ showed me who he was. CJ showed me who he was during that entire when that whole thing went down with Kyrie Irving, he showed me exactly who he was. Chris Paul still has influence. He just stepped down because people were coming after him, be like, oh, he's part of the union. This is why. So he let CJ run it, who he knows is a bootlicker just like he was, and they put him in charge. Now the person that represents the players is Jaylen Brown, so he can have a voice. But you remember what happened when they came in and replaced him, and then they started messing with my YouTube channel ever since. Because everybody seemed to thought I was saying that they were replacing, they're replacing him in the game. And I'm like, no. They're replacing Jaylen Brown as far as the union. They're not letting him talk no more. You see, when that whole thing with Kyrie happened, he was like confused. And it was like, whoa, what's going on here? This ain't making no sense. Mm-hmm. Man. Yeah. Yeah, I told you that. My video has 100,000 views. Look at that. 100,000 views. He got benched for supporting Kyrie Irving. They benched him on the union for this woman, who you never even see until the Kyrie Irving situation came up. She was the one gonna do all the talking now. Jaylen couldn't talk no more, and he was representing the players and saying how the players was feeling. He the vice president. You're not the vice president, man. Why are you speaking? Because she's a liberal. You see? She represents the liberal political side. So they was like, let her speak. Let her do all the talking. Now, many of y'all don't even know who that woman is. But she's speaking and being the voice now, taking over for the whole Kyrie Irving conversation. When the union is supposed to handle that, the president and the vice president who was speaking, all of a sudden they can't speak anymore. And the people that claimed they was outraged, 99% of them hadn't even seen what the whole video was. They didn't even see the video. I would never root for the Brooklyn Nets again. I would never wear my Brooklyn Nets jerseys with Kyrie and Kevin Durant on them. They're gone. That was it. Right. He did a suspension. He paid $500,000, and he met with the ADL, and that wasn't considered to be enough for their dog and pony show, and they made a political fiasco out of it. The same way they're not going to do with Ja Morant, because they know Ja Morant is the most searched athlete on the internet, and because he's the most searched athlete on the internet, he generates a lot of money. Whenever you're bigger than LeBron James, and he has way more millions of followers than you, but more people are clicking to watch Ja Morant do things in the NBA on a basketball court than LeBron James, because what he does is ridiculous. On TikTok, he's crazy, got crazy numbers. So Adam Silver knows this is going to destroy the Memphis Grizzlies market and bring the team value down, which makes his job harder, and it makes him look bad on his job that a team is losing money now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, look how they did Anthony Edwards. He was in the car looking out the window at a group of people and saying that was, making fun of the Skittles crew because they was outside. And he got suspended. Remember that? They was outside of a club and he made some remarks towards the Skittles crew, and the NBA hit him with a fine, right? So you are their property until your contract is up and you're no longer in the league, and then you better still, as long as they keeping you in functions or you getting a pension from the league, buddy, you better toe the line. Yes, Isaiah Thomas reached out to Joe Dumars to discuss yeah, to discuss, about John Morant, and he spoke up positively, just to reiterate, not like he needed to do that with Joe Dumars. It's just that, he just felt a need to express a little bit about, hey, just to put that bird back in his ear, like, look, let's not get reactionary on this kid because people want to see blood. No, Jaylen Brown was very assertive because he knows Kyrie Irving, and he knows the type of person he is. And for them to paint him in this light is different from what anybody else could say about him. He's a former teammate of the man. He knows the type of person he is. So when they trying to paint him and he's seeing what the media is doing, not only is he vice president of basketball operations, he happens to actually have played with this guy and know this guy a lot better than the people who are sitting there accusing him. John Morant problem is the people around him are not giving him or treating him fairly, or didn't express to him how serious what he did the first time was. Because you got to realize everything's political. Everything is political. The gun crisis that's happening with gun violence in Memphis, people just got killed outside of a nightclub in Memphis, at Yo Gotti's mom's club. It's gun violence in Memphis like crazy. Chicago. Can you imagine if DeMar DeRozan was on a video right now dancing with a gun with all the violence that's happening in Chicago? They would eat him alive. So it don't matter if it was a water gun, if it was a cap gun. It was the image of gun is being used next to your name in headlines, and you're marketing to children. So yes, it is dumb what he did. Then you hear what the commissioner said, like the situation was scary enough because that gun could have went off the way he was holding it. He could have shot himself. That's the same thing I was telling y'all when it first went down. I'm like, and he's holding it by his head. Like anybody who owns a firearm would never do such a thing. You would never put a gun by your head. Guns have hair triggers. Some of them you slightly touch them and it fires. We've seen a gun get set down and go off, and innocent people lost their lives because people don't know how to handle firearms. They haven't been trained. Most people don't go to the range or have somebody around them that could teach them. So it was dumb. So no one is, I know, that is giving him allowances for it. Everybody's saying it's stupid. Everybody's saying he should be punished. It's just those people who like to, sensationalize the incident. Like that lady I just showed y'all, she did all the talking when Kyrie Irving situation representing the union and what they was gonna say. They benched Jaylen Brown for her, and I got 100,000 views for it. Everybody was picking back off my video. I got 100,000 views. Because everybody thought that he was getting benched in the game. And I'm like, you got to watch the video. He's not getting benched in a game. He's getting benched in this political game that they're running. That is Tamika Tramagello. That's her name, Tamika Tramagello. And you know what Tramagello does? She works for the liberal Democrats. She's a political plant. And they have these people in every union just to let you know that they're liberals. And they're going to give the liberal approach. Yeah, so she took the liberal angle and said, I'll be handling the voice. The vice president shouldn't speak anymore. They silenced Jaylen Brown and told him to sit down and be quiet because he was asking the right questions. See, when you ask too many questions and you dancing on the right things, they gonna have to send that person to speak for you. They gotta silence your voice and have a voice that they want to be heard out there. So don't be surprised if you see Tamiko start speaking up on this Ja Morant situation. But everybody seemed to be singing the same song. See, they silenced Jaylen Brown and brought her on the scene. And then Jaylen didn't talk no more. She did all the talking. And y'all don't even know who she is. You see that? What did she have to do with this situation? Nobody asked any questions, did they? Nobody asked nothing. But her face seemed familiar, doesn't it? Like, I remember seeing her face. Just don't know who she was. Mm-hmm. But see, that's what they sit down and they send people like this to quiet down people like me and you. That's what they do. I think the NBA is going to go with the suspension, but Rick Carlisle, he wants a year. He's thinking that Ja Morant should be out a year. Of course you think that, Rick. But that's why, guys like Rick Carlisle shouldn't be allowed in these situations. Your job is the head coaches union. You worry about the head coaches. Don't worry about this. He's the reason. He is the reason that LeVar Ball. Wow, he's the reason that LeVar Ball cannot be interviewed by the NBA. Because LeVar Ball the media was loving it. He was a media tyrant. Like he was a lightning bolt. Anybody interviewed him, boom, straight to the ceiling. Straight to the top it goes. Mm-hmm. And he said something about Luke Walton's coaching ability. And that Luke Walton should be removed. He should be fired. He wasn't the only one saying that. The whole world was saying that. Rick Carlisle got up and saying the league should look into this and take action. He said it publicly. Normally he does this behind the scenes as he's the president of the head coaches union. And now he believes Ja Morant should be out for a whole year. Adam Silver don't agree with that. Adam Silver believes that would hurt Memphis, and he doesn't want to hurt the Grizzlies, but that punishes them more than any other organization when they did the right thing immediately and just suspend him right away from all activities that has something to do with the Grizzlies. Now the league is going to take over from here and extract the punishment. This is not an internal thing anymore. This is a league thing now. So now that he knows he's screwed up again, Right. Because what people do is they sensationalize it. The guy was like, well, I'm going to try to be an attorney for John Morant and I'm going to make an excuse for him. We were filming a movie. All kind of goofiness, to try to sensationalize a very serious matter that y'all don't realize that this he has a great influence. NBA basketball players, celebrities, they have a lot of influence over people like rap artists. You see Lil Wayne influence in all of these young artists you see today. Wayne, they influenced by Wayne. That's what I always call these young rappers, the children of Wayne. Ja don't even know it. He's one of the childs of Wayne. All these long dreadlocks, tattoos, multicolored craziness, all that, y'all got all that from Wayne. Little Wayne got all of y'all under his thumb. Oh, he's gonna miss more than 20 games. Oh, that's out the question. Without a doubt, he's gonna miss half the season. At a minimum. He's gonna miss half the season. He just cost himself $39 million by his actions he did in that Denver night strip club. That cost him $39 million. He was left off an all NBA team, which we all know he is all NBA. So now he's off all NBA team. That cost him $39 million. He just lost a Powerade endorsement that was going to pay him tens of millions of dollars. Now Nike is on the board for not saying anything. They stay real quiet. You don't hear anything from Phil Knight or Pat Knight or whatever his name is. You don't hear nothing from him. Having missing 41 games or having 41 games with John Morant or 82 games without John Morant. This is why I said people were so stupid to believe the media's lies about Michael Jordan being suspended by the NBA. Do you think there's any way, shape, form in hell Michael Jordan could have did 4 homicides being on trial? The NBA was like, well, while he's going through trial, he will play the game, then go to court in the morning, then play the game at night. You think they finna suspend Michael Jordan? Do you know how stupid that sounds? They're gonna treat Michael Jordan like every other athlete. If they didn't treat him like that on the court, what make you think in hell they would treat him like that, period? He is the league. No, that wouldn't happen. John Morant plays in other stadiums. People want to see John Morant. They want to see Ja be Ja. They want to see if he's going to dunk on somebody. But people can be fooled. You have people that's on national television still telling you that Michael Jordan was going to be suspended for gambling. These are sports analysts that's saying it's known as a fabrication and a lie. It was no truth in it whatsoever. Do you think David Stern, the ultimate capitalist, is going to sit there and say, we're going to take our biggest star of the sports who's selling our league and suspend him and we finna just take a loss for the season? Hell no. Do you know how badly hurt the NBA was when Michael Jordan left in 1993? They didn't prepare for Michael Jordan to leave because they were shocked he retired. And they had nothing to go on. The Knicks versus Houston Rockets was one of the lowest finals watched in history. It was so bad they cut the game and put it in a small screen and showed the O.J. Simpson Bronco chase. People was watching news about OJ. They cared less about the finals. And they were like, man, we getting crushed by every other network because we showing the finals and the OJ Bronco chase is killed. Everybody's watching that on every other station. But we showing it too. They showed the Bronco chase and put the game in a little small corner of the box. No one cared about the finals. It was all about OJ and the white Bronco chase. Yeah, of course we cared because I was waiting. I was rooting for the Knicks to win. Yeah, I rooted for the Knicks. We used to always root for the Knicks. I hate the Bulls. What you talking about? I'm John Starks, all them like was my guys. I'm like, you guys gonna carry the torch for the Pistons. That's what we gave the torch to the Knicks and said, y'all take them down. It's up to y'all, man. They just couldn't do it. Oh, me and John Starks talked about that. Man, we were cracking up when we was in there. Y'all saw me and Starks hanging out, man. We was at that party, getting it in. I went to John Starks' thing down in Florida, man. I was talking to Starks. I was like, man, we know it's all politics, man. They was pushing this dude, and y'all was way better than them. And John was looking like, man, I could care less about that now. Like, I'm retired, but man, you on the level. John, like, man, I don't even have a passion for it no more. Like, I'm done playing. Like, I can care less about it. But man, you on the level. I was like, you damn right I'm on the level. I'm still mad y'all got robbed. Oh man. Still mad y'all got robbed. No way in hell they was beating the Rockets. Man, they had the Rockets beat. What are you talking about? The Rockets was beat. The Rockets just had a lot of luck because they were beat that year, especially game six. Game six, the game was like all the way over, and John Starks brought the team back. John kept hitting all these shots. The game, like the Knicks was conceding game six. It was over. That's what people need to go back and watch game six. The game came down to like a 2-point game because John Starks hit everything he put up. He was on fire. He couldn't miss. And that's why it was like game seven, he was 3 for 19. I was like, because he shot himself out in game six. y'all keep dissing Starks. Don't y'all remember game six? I mean, from a basketball perspective, or just from a perspective in general. No, I told y'all what was gonna happen. No, I don't. I don't really look at that part. But let's look at the major factor that I'll keep talking about. Mm-mm. You said something is in Memphis water. Look at OJ Mayo. Well, OJ Mayo, you gotta understand. Some people react different when they get money. You know what I'm saying? Money gives a lot of people freedom. And when they get money, they just go insane. They don't know how to curb themselves. You seen that with Adrian Broner. You seen that with a lot of athletes, but just using Adrian Broner as an example. To me, Antonio Brown was somebody who, once he got hit, the Burbick hit messed him up. He never had any of these inflictions until he got that hit. Once he got that hit, his whole world changed. Mm-mm. You have a certain responsibility as a man, as a person, as a human being to represent yourself in a such manner. Like these rules didn't need to be put in place for for us when we were growing up because we seem to have understood that there was a, a, a greater responsibility. We understood the struggles. We weren't disconnected from the hardships of who our real enemies were and who was really against us. So we knew not to do things stupid. We knew not to act out because this could be detrimental to us. If we did make a mistake, there's a small margin of error for us than any other race on the planet. So we knew we can behave how our white friends would behave and throw rocks at people's houses and hit dogs and stuff with rocks and pellet guns. We couldn't do that kind of goofiness because we knew something around the corner was coming for us. And if we wasn't fearing the cops, we feared what's gonna happen when we get home. Because the embarrassment we cause in our family is we finna pay for that when we get in that household. So that kept us in line. Gilbert Arenas told you what? If you slap me on the wrist, I'm gonna say, that didn't even hurt, and I'm gonna do it again. So you can't give him a slap on the wrist. Like I say, hear Gilbert talk. Just hear him. Because why he act like it's not such a big thing, it is. No, that's not even the case. Hold on. People are sending me stuff. So, y'all know I cleaned up on the bets last night. I told y'all what to bet, and y'all didn't bet, and y'all lost. So, y'all wanted to know my bets for today. See, it's always like that. People got to see some winning going on before they realize they can get involved. So, for everybody who stuck around for this hour and 30 minutes, y'all in store for a treat. Cino gonna let you in on some bets. Oh, I got a lot of bets going on. I got my international tennis going on right now, everything. Okay. Here's the bet. Jimmy Butler scores over 23 points tonight. Jaylen Brown scores over 20. The Miami Heat plus 15.5. Take that. The under 221, bet that. And points scored by a player. Marcus Smart has to score at least 12 points. That's dicey, but I bet it. That's what I bet. MLB? Where's my MLB at? Okay, MLB. I got the Toronto Blue Jays plus 1.5. The Texas Rangers, Atlanta Braves at the Texas Rangers is under 7.5. St. Louis Cardinals against the Brewers. I got the Cardinals plus 1.5. I got the Hurricanes in the NHL winning on the money line. Then I have the Dallas Stars plus 1.5 and the under 5.5 for the actual game. Then I just need Dallas to win tonight and go for that 17. I could cash out right now and take $1,200, or I could go for the whole 1,700. All I need. Boston just got to win the game. That's it. Nuggets won. Now it's time for Boston. Boston win. Cena wins. So yep, I got the Celtics on the money line. Oh, they better win. Shoot, I'm risking that. I can have 1,200 right now. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Definitely go to the Patreon today. You will not be disappointed. As you finna hear some boy, I'm finna tell you about the Kardashians. It's going down with that, and you're gonna hear the first episode of the David Stern stories. That's going down. So if you're a Patreon member already, you're in for a treat.